Ace Bailey says he wants to win Rookie of the Year. Can he do it? Next on Locked on Jazz.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked on Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you so much. Thursday last week was the third biggest day in the history of the network. It's incredible. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And to the everydayers, I love you. You're the best. You're the greatest. Thank you all. All right. Today's show, we will continue with our Ask LOJ questions left over from my laptop disaster on Friday. If you missed that yesterday, that makes sense to you. If you heard it, everydayers. If you didn't, just let it go. We jump a plane today and head to Houston. So tomorrow's show will be the first from a hotel. Hopefully the system works since I didn't get to test it this weekend. So we'll see. If not, I'll figure it out. And today's show, we will talk about the bunch of different aspects to today's show. Will the Jazz win 30 games? Is that a bold prediction? How much will the veterans play? Ace Bailey and what he has to do to develop and how he wins Rookie of the Year. Let's start there. So Ace Bailey has come out and said he wants to win Rookie of the Year. He expects to win Rookie of the Year. The Jazz have come out and said, let's not put all the burden on him. So we're going to do the exact opposite today. We're going to discuss how he could win Rookie of the Year. So the first thing is opportunity. And this is why Ace Bailey actually could win Rookie of the Year. Because I would expect if he plays well enough in camp that he will start. And then he will play 25 to 30 minutes a night if his body physically can handle it. And he will get great opportunity. So Lowry is our primary scorer. History says Lowry probably plays 70 games. Keontae is probably our second scorer, unless Keontae doesn't start. And then that's going to be up for grabs, and it could be Ace Bailey. So that's the first thing. If you're going to win Rookie of the Year, you generally have to score. Like, we can talk about all these other things, but if you look at the history of the Rookies of the Year of the NBA, you end up seeing people who can score. We like scoring. We're not, last year probably should have been Jalen Wells because he actually played the most important minutes. Instead, it was Stephen Castle. Last year's class was particularly bad. It had been the first time since 2017 that we had a Rookie of the Year that averaged fewer than 15 points a game. And it was 14.7. And the only time Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year in 2017, a particularly bad class. And other than that, the last time somebody won Rookie of the Year that didn't average 15 points a game was Mike Miller in 2001. And Stephen Castle averaged 14.7. So you really could round it up. And if you round it up, then basically Malcolm Brogdon in 2017 is the only rookie who did not average 15 points a game to win Rookie of the Year since Mike Miller in 2001. And if you stem it back, you actually get Jason Kidd in 1995, unique point guard, to win Rookie of the Year. And you go to Mark Jackson in 1998. You've got to average 15 points a game to win Rookie of the Year. And Ace Bailey's got a real chance to average 15 points a game this year. That is the first threshold. We like people that score, and we want people who can score. So that, to me, tells me that there are 4 guys who really have a chance to win Rookie of the Year this year. Cooper Flagg, VJ Edgecombe, maybe, with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and everybody else there, but he's really good. He looked great in Summer League. Trey Johnson in Washington is going to get a ton of opportunity, and Ace Bailey. I don't think, and obviously there can be someone that we don't anticipate, and there's certain guys in this draft you can like. And Jeremiah Fears would be the other one that I think has a chance if he starts in New Orleans his first game. I think he went 0 for 10 his second game. He got some time. Otherwise, I don't see anyone else out here, other than maybe Walt Clayton, frankly, because of opportunity, who could average 15 points a game. Dylan Harper will start injured, may make opening day. But on that roster, with De'Aaron Fox and with Victor Wembanyama and with Devin Vassell and with Keldon Johnson, I don't think that Dylan Harper averages 15 points a game. I don't think Con Knipple with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Miles Bridges averages 15 points a game. I think he looks like he might start and play well in Collin Sexton. So I think we have 4 guys that can average 15 points a game. Cooper Flagg, VJ Edgecombe, Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, with a question mark on Jeremiah Fears. So that's the first thing that absolutely. The FanDuel Sportsbook has Cooper Flagg at minus 195, Trey Johnson at plus 850, VJ Edgecombe plus 1,000, and Ace Bailey at plus 1,500. So the very first thing Ace Bailey has to do if he's going to try to win Rookie of the Year is just grab the narrative. Early good games. Well, while the world's paying attention to Cooper Flagg, he goes and puts up a few 20s early in the year, and now everybody's talking about Ace Bailey, and he becomes a story, and now you have a Rookie of the Year opportunity. Cooper Flagg is going to put up 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists kind of night all the time. It's the kind of player he is. He's that good. He's that physically mature. D'Angelo Russell will feed him the ball. He will be with Anthony Davis. He will get his opportunities. He will probably average, my guess is 16, 5, and 5 this year. He'll cross. And Trey Johnson may average 20 as a rookie. That's a lot. There aren't a lot of rookies that have averaged 20, but there's just not a lot of scoring on that, and Trey Johnson can really shoot it and really score it. So then the second thing on Ace Bailey is, one, he's got to grab the narrative early. He's coming from 5th spot on the FanDuel Sportsbook Rookie of the Year thing. And then obviously staying healthy, that's intuitive, is a level of somewhat of efficiency. He has the reputation right now of being a chucker, right? And the media is going to hold on to that, whether they actually watch him or not. And so, and let's be honest, most of the media is not going to see him. We don't have national television games. We're not a marquee team. And so they're going to be watching other games, and we're not on Peacock, and we're not on Amazon, and we're not on ESPN Plus. And so for them to watch Ace Bailey is going to be highlights, and it's going to have some level of efficiency. It's not going to be 22 shots and 20 points, or else they're going to quickly judge him on that. So early grab of the narrative, average 15 points. And then I think the last piece of this puzzle is, do the Jazz play a little bit better than expected? So we're probably expected to win about 17 or 18 games, I think, on the NBA over-under. And are we suddenly a 25 win type of team that allows the people to at least say he didn't, that they were at least, that he improved the team. He had a positive impact, that the numbers weren't empty from a voter standpoint. Because if Cooper Flagg's on a playoff team having 16, 5, and 5, it's going to be really hard to take that award away from him. Taking the award away from Cooper Flagg is going to be hard. Taking it away from Trey Johnson, who scores 20 points a game on a bad team, is going to be the exact same argument. And those both are going to go kind of by the wayside. And then I think VJ Edgecombe's the only other question is whether Philadelphia gets settled and does anything of any value and is actually any good. It's not an outlandish comment. And it's not an outlandish comment at all. And it's absolutely a possibility. He's going to average enough points. He's one of 4 guys who can do it. He's going to have some efficiency. He's going to have to continually improve throughout the year. He's got all the athleticism to do it. And he's got to have highlight plays because that's the only way he's going to be seen. And Adam Silver said it's a highlight league. And those things are going to happen. So Ace Bailey, Rookie of the Year, is not a craziness. That's how it happens. And that's the script, and it's there. Now, whether he's ready at 19 years old is a totally different question. We'll dig into that next on Locked On Jazz. Tuesday edition of Locked on Jazz is brought to you by Murdoch Hyundai, located at 4646 South State Street, also located in Logan and in Linden. As we get ready for the Murdochs bringing you all the great deals. I keep noticing, I'm driving the Hyundai Santa Fe, and maybe it's one of those things where you're driving the car, you notice it. I'm noticing a lot of them out there, and I know why, because it is just terrific. The hybrid, my son drove it to Colorado and back just recently because that was a safer car than when he was going to drive. And he filled up once the whole way to Aspen, or I think he went to Vale and back. Incredible. Drives beautifully, gives you great power, very fuel efficient with a hybrid, fabulous space in the back, 3 rows of seats if you need it, plenty of golf club bikes, push carts, all the rest room. Absolutely amazing car. If you're in the market for a car right now, include Hyundai, see what you can get the best bang for your buck, plus then use Murdoch. Over 90 years in Utah, giving you the no regrets experience. Email me at dlock09@gmail.com and let me set you up with the everyday or VIP experience over at Murdoch Hyundai, located in Linden, in Logan, and at 4646 South State Street. And if you could mention to me which location you're going to, that will expedite the process. Email me at dlock09@gmail.com. We'll get you the VIP experience over at Murdoch Hyundai. Today's show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. We just gave you the Rookie of the Year odds at FanDuel, and the NFL season is here. FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, you can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. We'll get in the action, whether you're a casual fan, love diving into stats, making it an art form, or just to make the game more exciting. FanDuel makes game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. By the way, I was just looking this up. Jazz are plus 122 to win 20 or more games. For the Jazz to win more than 20, you can bet 122 if you want to. So, just a thought for you. The NBA Finals odds right now to make the championship odds, the Thunder are plus 220, Cavaliers plus 700, Nuggets plus 750, Knicks plus 1,000, Lakers plus 1,400, Timberwolves plus 1,600. NBA awards, the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plus 150, Nikola Jokic plus 350, Luka Doncic plus 380. The Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, not listed in the top 6 odds on FanDuel right now. As we mentioned, Rookie of the Year for you all. It's all at FanDuel. Most Improved Player, Amon Thompson, leads the possibilities there. His brother, Asur, is 5th on the list of Most Improved Players in the NBA. It's all at FanDuel.com. Thanks so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. And thank you for making us the #1 sports podcast network. Woohoo! Awesome. All right, let's get to some of your questions. And the first one leads into right what we were talking about today, which is besides shot selection, what do you think Ace needs to work on offensively to be effective in his rookie season? Rim, finishing, ball handling. So if I'm just totally honest, I don't know enough yet. I've watched him in 1 practice, 2 summer league games, 1 summer league practice, and a bunch of tape. The first thing I would tell you is that he falls backwards on a lot of his shots, probably because he's so used to being guarded that he throws them out there and it doesn't give him a lot of room. That's probably the first reason why he does that, but I don't know if that's true. And so that would be just fundamental shot fundamentals. I think will be a first big one for him is if you notice when he shoots, he just falls back. Okay. The second one is quick decisions. I don't think Will Hardy's going to care if he turns it over. I don't think Will Hardy's going to care if he misses. I think he's going to care if he holds the ball. He's got to play with his teammates. In other words, get the ball and make a decision. If it's the wrong decision, that's fine, because that wrong decision will teach you how to make the right decision eventually. It's kind of the rule that you'd far rather have a rookie with 5 turnovers a game than 0. The second thing that I will tell you, here's what I think you will see. He's going to play from the top a lot more than playing from the wings. And I think you'll see him getting the ball on the wing, second side, putting on the deck, think he's going to be able to get to the basket and not get there. I think he's going to have a hard time realizing early on in the season how fast windows close. He's always been the best athlete on the floor. in every game he's ever played, and he won't be now. So I think he's going to struggle with, and he's always been probably the longest player on the floor at 7-1 reach. And now he's going to drive to the basket, and it's going to go away very fast. And I'm sure he's never passed in his life off a downhill dribble to the basket. And there's going to be, I would guess, against Houston tomorrow, 3 moments in which he drives to the basket and gets ripped by Amon Thompson or gets just enclosed and enveloped by a bunch of guys, and the ball goes nowhere and it looks ridiculous. And so he's going to he's got to learn that, oh, okay, on that one, I have to make the decision and I stop and make it, get rid of it, or pull up for a jumper or do something different because I can't get all the way to the rim in this league. That will be that's my guess. So when you say, what does he have to work on? I think the first one is going to be not holding the ball. And the second thing is learning the decisions. And then I just don't know enough of like his game right now to know whether he's going to be able to rim finish, whether he's going to be able to ball handle, whether he's going to throw the ball into the third row. The only thing I've really seen is that jumper thing that he falls back on it. That's just a fundamental fix that his coaches will work on and get there. What I think you're asking what he needs to work on, what he needs to continue is just this relentless energy that he plays with that everyone's talking about. Lowry Marketing yesterday at the East High School scrimmage, what a cool event, did mention, that both he and Walt are very coachable. That's been a reoccurring theme from all of the veterans about both he and Walt. And I think that's probably the thing that he's got to continue to do. So, as much as we're looking for the thing that he has to learn, and he needs to work on, I think the key things are the energy level that he seems to have possessed in everything he's done so far, as well as the willingness to learn, are probably more important than whether he gets a better ball handler, he fixes jumper, or he does any of these other things along the way. I think that's probably the key to it. The other one I just think is like finding when to take shots. So your question about shot selection, when to take the shot in that decision making. Yeah, if you're open, you better pull, but you better also read when you're open and when you're not, which is super tricky. So I think that's when to take, if he's playing up top too, he's going to be taking a longer 3. I don't think that's going to help his percentages a little bit at all. Right. I mean, I don't think we're going to put him in the corner and have him sit there. And the above the break 3 is not as easy a shot as a corner 3. So it's worth us keeping a tab on what shots he gets from what locations during the season, because that'll dictate a little bit of, part of the reason Keontae's shooting percentage is so bad is he always is taking the above the break 3. He's actually a pretty good corner 3 shooter, but the average corner 3 is a 39% shot and the average above the break 3 is a 35% shot. So those are really different. Are we going to be playing the all young guys? Are Love, Anderson, Nurkic, Niang going to play? Are we going to play Clayton, Hendricks, Williams, Sensabaugh, Collier? Can't have an 11-man rotation. So you are correct. This, to me, is probably the number one thing I'm going to try to kind of learn on this road trip as we go on the road and we're around the team is, so Niang has not played yet and has been out injured. And so I think he's going to have to grasp the opportunity to get back in the rotation. I don't think he will just get a spot back in the rotation based on his reputation. But here's the easy way to look at this that gets interesting. So I think all right, my first one is I think Nurkic will play 22 minutes a night, or maybe, right around there, maybe 25. So I think Nurkic will, no, that means he'd be playing more than Walker. So 22 minutes a night and Walker's playing 26, 28. So he's playing 20. I think we'll play 48 minutes of center. And Filipowski will start the year at the 4. That's my guess. If Taylor emerges and is ready, then that could switch at some point during the season if Filipowski's out playing Nurkic. But I actually think Jusuf Nurkic in some ways is our second best player. And I think Jusuf Nurkic is the player who probably makes everybody else better on the roster with his pick setting and his handoffs and his passing and his ability to stretch the floor as a big, even though he's not a real 3-point threat. So I actually think that that's like, just to kind of go with that, I think that like, it's a stretch, but I think he'll play. For every veteran that plays, if we're playing a 10-man rotation, one of the 7 youngsters, not counting Ace, is out of the rotation. I suspect that we'll play better if Kyle Anderson is on the floor. He's just that good a player. He's that smart. He does everything right. He makes everyone's life better. And it is probably worth him being on the floor to help every other young player play well. That now gets us down to 2 young players not playing. To start the year, I think that's awfully hard. Once injuries kick in and guys get beaten up, and frankly, maybe it's already happened. Collier and Filipowski are not participating right now. Kyle has done, I think, very little in camp so far, if I'm reading kind of the daily reports on that. Then that's not as difficult. Once, because the way, if you just kind of go through it, every NBA player on average misses 10 games. And so if you have just on average, you have 1 or 2 guys that's out every night. That's just the way it works. So I think that there's a chance there. Then Kevin Love's the really interesting one because he is on the far end of his career. But again, and he has definitely slowed down and he's not as good a player as he once was, where I think, Nurkic, Kyle Anderson, and Niang are viable, completely rotation players in the NBA. I'm not sure where Kevin Love is on this right now, but boy, he does a lot of things well. And again, he can really play. So, and then Svi Mykhailiuk is in this conversation as well. And he's a guy who I think becomes, what he was last year, which is like sometimes he starts and sometimes he doesn't play. He's just so great at stepping in. He can probably play any position of the group. The one I do think is really interesting is how our ball handling is and whether we're turning it over a lot and whether we actually have a point guard. And if not, then I think Kyle Anderson plays more and more because he can really conduct and keep things together. But this is certainly a reoccurring question. We'll touch a little bit more on it. And why the question I'm now getting from people is like, why did we move John, Collin, and Jordan to bring in other veterans? And I think there is a distinct answer to that. And we'll have it for you next on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you in part by Monarch Money. Great opportunity for you to take advantage of a super deal and to get a little bit better hold of what's going on with your finances and be able to make smart decisions with Monarch Money. It's really cool. It's an app or on your desktop, and it really basically is an all-in-one personal finance tool for you that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. I think the best part about it is how it categorizes your spending. So if you have something going on over here, let's say it's a house remodel and you know that that's all you're spending, you can kind of put all that over on the side, and then you can look at your regular finances and have a really good view of how you're actually spending your money. It does all the heavy lifting for you. It's built for people with busy lives. If you're putting off organizing your finances, Monarch is here for you to solve that problem without even touching a dreaded spreadsheet, though I like spreadsheets. Not a surprise to any of you who listen to this show. So look at your investments, increase your savings rate, easily review your finances with your partner, your financial advisor. Keep a clear view of your financial health week to week, long term. It's all there for you at monarchmoney.com. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. So the question I'm getting a lot is, why did we get rid of John Collins, Collin Sexton, and Jordan Clarkson, and then bring in all these other veterans? So one is you just have to have some semblance of order on your roster. There's 2 things. You can't really have 14 young kids all trying to play at the same time, right? So we kind of are at the maximum right now, frankly. Like, Elijah Harkless and John Chanje and some of these guys would like to play. And I don't know that they're ever going to get a lot of time this year other than injuries. Last year we took Patty Mills and Drew Eubanks, both who are kind of Patty Mills on the total back end of his career, who then was an advisor and help. But these guys are a little bit in the middle. Like Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, George Niang, and Yusuf Nurkic do not think their careers are over. And they do want to play. That will be a little bit of a rub as this season goes on. Once injuries start, it'll go away. But if we actually start the season with 9 or 10 all youngsters, there'll be a little rub there where those guys will be like, hey, I'm better than this. I want to play. Maybe not in a bad way, but just that will exist. Trust me. You need them for some semblance of work. The other one that I've tried to really talk about, and I think has become true. There's a difference between supporting the young guys and taking the oxygen. John, Collin, and Jordan had the oxygen of the building. It was their show. with Lowry a little bit. Lowry's the best player, but he's quiet. And so there just wasn't room for Keontae to lead the way he's leading. Even people to scrimmage kind of talked about things they saw yesterday at East High School that showed you how much Keontae's trying to lead. And you don't have the opportunity with these veterans. You're getting a guiding light, but even like George Niang said, like, this is their team. I got to stay a little quieter than I usually do. That was a sign of like, okay, this is their group. They're going to have to form. We're going to be here to assist. We can be their vets, but this is their group. And I think that's the big change. And this is not a criticism of John, Collin, or Jordan, but that's the truth on them. They were the oxygen in the building. And this is going to allow some of the younger Jazz players to be the oxygen in the building. And then we'll see if they can handle that. This question just keeps coming back is, who do you see not getting playing time at the start of the season? I don't know. I mean, I think that obviously Collier and Filipowski are banged up right now. Cody Williams, if he doesn't get any better, would be the likely choice, but I think there's signs that he could get better. It's going to be interesting to see, like, if on the rotation, as I just said earlier, if Nurkic is playing, then I do think you're going to have some aspect in which one young player is not playing, and then if Kyle Anderson's playing or someone else in the rotation, you're going to have two, and if George Niang gets the rotation, you got three. I think that happens when injuries happen. So I don't know the answer, but I mean, I could see, like, here's the way I would look at it. Will Hardy had a great comment last year. If your weaknesses are so much that it derails everything we're doing, it's hard to play. So if your defense is so bad that every single time they just call you out and you're sitting there and there's no defensive scheme we can run because everything the Jazz are doing at that point is to protect that player because they're defensively so bad, then that's a problem. And if your offense is so poor or non-existent that you're in the corner and they don't guard you or they go under on a pick and roll at 15 feet, then you can't really run anything. If any of our players' weaknesses are still that big that they are unable, that the weaknesses then prevent everything being run, they're the ones who wouldn't play. Here was a question that came in. My big bold prediction is the Jazz will be closer to 30 than 20 wins. Am I crazy? Lowry being allowed to play consistently, Walker growth, Keontae jump, Ace being good, one of Hendricks or Bryce. He had a list. I love it. I love the optimism. So the over-under on FanDuel's for the Jazz, I think, is like 17, right? That is doubling your over-under. That happens very, very little. So I get 100% where you're coming from, because I literally kind of go the same place. Like, as we're at this point of the season and you start to get excited and you look at them and all that kind of stuff, I'm right there with you. And I start to think to myself, yeah, like maybe they can win a few more games and Lowry will be good. And I go exactly where you go. And then I start to kind of think about it. And the over-under is at 18.5 right now at FanDuel.com. So that's a 12-win jump. That feels like an awful lot. The other thing is, where are they going to come from? The only other team in the Western Conference that I think is going to be bad is New Orleans. New Orleans is at 31.5, and if Zion's at all not healthy, that seems like a really big number for me on them. And Phoenix is at 31.5, but Devin Booker's pretty good, and maybe that's – so though you get a few wins there. But otherwise, like, we're not going to be favored 18 times this year. Like, if you just go on that, like, you're obviously not going to lose every game you're not favored. But, I mean, I think we were favored twice all of last year. No, I'm not kidding. My memory is that we were favored 2 times all season last year. Once, I think, against Brooklyn, once against Washington. If I'm wrong, it's 4. So we're going to be favored like 4 or 5 games all season long this year. And if we're only favored 4 or 5 games this year, I don't know how we get to 30. Even if things click. Yeah, if guys pop and Will Hardy's got some surprise going up his sleeve and things go, that would be great. But, like, Brooklyn's at 20.5. We're at 18.5. Washington, okay, but we only get those guys twice. So even if we get all of them, that's 4. I just can't come up with the other 26. Right? Like, I don't quite know what Portland's doing this year with where they are, but they're not terrible. They're at 34.5. Maybe we get 1 against Portland. 2. Let's go 2 against Portland. We're up to 6. I just can't find the 30. So I'm with you. I get the same vibe. I feel like it's going to be better than anyone expects. I think it's going to be really enjoyable. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to watch Ace tomorrow. But I have a hard time finding 30, if that makes sense. Tomorrow from Houston, and tomorrow night, I get to rejoin Ron Boone on a broadcast. It's Locked on Jazz. Thank you so much for taking all this time with me. I appreciate it more than you know. It is time to send you over to the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel on YouTube, Locked on NBA. Also check out Locked on NBA Daily. Game night will be back this year. Plus, Wes, Hayes, and Matt every day.